goodness, guys. Ugh, sorry about that. Freaking hot, guys. That is all I can say. It is so goddamn hot. I couldn't live in a hot country. It's only 23 degrees, which equates to like 80, probably not even that. Honestly, guys, we're just not used to it here. We really, really aren't. But it's perfect. I love it. This is perfect. I wouldn't really want it to be any hotter. And like I'm saying, I couldn't handle, kind of Arizona heat or Florida heat, anything like that, really. But guys, before I go on, I'm sorry if I'm boring you. I've got a couple of housekeeping notes and one, what's the word? And one way that I'm having. What the hell is this guy doing? Sake. What a weirdo! Oh my god, it was like a kid driving a bloody sports car. Anyway, look. The housekeeping, right. First of all, I'm noticing, guys, doesn't go unnoticed, that I'm losing you, okay? If I'm not going on about the 9 o'clock news, and that is that's the other part of my notices, is that, well, I'll come to that in a minute. I'm losing you, right? I've changed my name up on in here, and I'm going back to YouTube, okay? Because the people there actually are interested in, kind of what's going on spiritually, as well as what's going on just in the mundane, honestly, and in our war-torn, world, basically. And, I told you a little bit about what was happening for me kind of end of last week, beginning of this week, which was that I had a friend who was, kind of saying to me, oh, don't get so caught up in all the negativity, I hate this kind of thing of you've got to think positive, because I actually don't think that that's what we're meant to do at all. I think we have to be authentic, and I think we have to be real, okay? And I don't actually think there's anything wrong. In fact, I think it's right that we don't ignore, like we have been. And I wanted to tell you about the story I watched on YouTube the other day. Is that we have to witness now evil, and we have to bring it into consciousness, and we have to make everyone conscious, okay? So there's not a doubt in my mind about that, but as well, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that the most important part is healing, okay? It's getting yourself online for a beautiful life when that whole thing collapses, okay? And so, we've had 5 years, guys. We've had 5 years. I know a lot of people who haven't even begun to get themselves mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, as well as physically, okay? Because the easiest way to get the rest of those three is to get your physical body in tip-top health, okay? And if you don't believe me after all this time, then I really am sorry, guys. I really, really am. But I want to be welcomed, okay? I want to be available for the people who actually are interested in this kind of thing. And I'm aware, because the people over here are making sure that I'm aware that it isn't them, okay? It isn't them. It's only if I'm saying things like, oh, it's starting, like the war's here, that they tune in, and I find that very boring, honestly. So So that was the other thing, is that I am aware that we really do need to stay. It's not about being positive, okay, but we need to stay high vibe. And high vibe, guys, is authenticity. Authenticity. I actually watched back, because I went on my channel, because I'd noticed that I'd gotten a few. In fact, I tripled. I've got 21 subscribers now, guys, but I'm going to work on that. And when I left YouTube, I hadn't been able to get above 7. But I'm sort of just chatting on people's things. A few people got interested in the fact that I believe in the fluids. So I want to talk more about the Christ oil, guys. I want to talk more about the fluids, the benefit of the fluids, that kind of thing. I'm still going to be posting my videos here as well. I'm going to just post, so hey guys, out in YouTube land. Okay, I haven't posted for a while. This is my first one. If you want to see my backlog, then you have to go to BitShit, and look for me there. Okay, but anyway, I'm back, bitches. So look out, witches. Okay. And let's just keep it high vibe and take it next level, shall we? Okay, that's what I'm here for. But I am interested in the mundane. I don't think that we should be shaming people that are outing evil. Okay, I really, really don't. I actually watched this video the other day. I couldn't believe it. It was about a Roman, what were they then? Like Caesar, Roman ruler. Okay, I don't know what they were called. But I think his name was Nero. I don't know much about these kinds of things, guys. But he was married to a beautiful woman, but he himself was psychotic, and he ended up, I think probably, they didn't say it this way, but I believe what actually happened was, I think he fell in love with this young boy, and who apparently was beautiful, and I think he actually fell in love with him first. But then he kills his wife, kills the queen, or his consort, whatever they're also known as, and he then makes out as if he's so distraught that his wife has died. It's not so obvious that he's killed her, but it's, people are questioning. Can't remember what happened to her in the end. And then he then takes on this young boy and forces him through. First thing he does is castrates him, and they never actually say it, but he's clearly his sex toy. Okay, he's clearly a paedophile, and this young boy, who's 13 at the time, becomes his consort, basically. And it's like the beginning, really, of the mass manipulation and mind control way in which these oligarchs, the men that embarrassingly want to rule the world, I'm so embarrassed for them, the lengths that they have gone to force, because it is narcissistic, okay, they don't know how to do anything else, the people, okay, force we the people into believing their bullshit. And it was unbelievable. Every single person on the land, okay, and there were thousands of them, including the people who worked for the government, for the Caesar sort of thing. And obviously including his own army, who was so much more powerful than him, yet they were all manipulated to go along with his charade, that this young boy that he had cut the genitals off of and dressed up as a woman, okay, and I believe that this could have been where then it began, that the king's consort, okay, is almost always a man throughout history. Now, I don't know about now, okay, but it wouldn't surprise me if Elizabeth was. It wouldn't surprise me. I'm going to be honest. The king's consort looks like she could be a man, and as we know, half of Hollywood, women are men, and you only have to look back at historical photographs and paintings but photographs mainly, okay, because in the paintings they will try and make them look like women. In the photographs they are so clearly men, okay, and then this then brings me to, but I just thought that was fascinating, and there are loads of those stories now online. And these are all the stories that are outing our history, okay? Our history of extreme manipulation and abuse. And that's why the Gen Z, I got it a little bit wrong with the generations, I might come to that in a minute, but that's why Gen Z are so royally castrating themselves. They are castrated. They have been castrated. They are the nth degree of the sickness that we have lived through for the last 2,000 years. It's really, I feel so sorry for them. But I also then wanted to just point out what I'd said about that, okay, and explain myself like I always do, which is to say, okay, I'm not saying that we can't and don't love our brothers and sisters, okay, our non-binaries and our however many genders, okay, in the face of adversity that they are standing in. Okay, they're choosing to stand in it, okay, but they're standing in it, and it's extreme. They are choosing to believe that they're perfect and that they don't actually need healing, okay? They're choosing to believe that there is no psychosis in amongst them, and that they are the be-all and the end-all and the best, okay, generation that's ever lived. That's what they're choosing, okay? So it is actually very difficult to be loving towards them, but I'm not suggesting you can't love a trans person and still love them once they've had any operations that they may have, okay? That does not make you an abuser. But what does make you an abuser is not telling them over and over again to not have the surgery. If you are a real friend, you will give real truths, okay? That is just the be-all and the end-all, I'm afraid. Real friends give real truths. Frenemies, okay, they won't give you a truth. They'll pretend that you're fine and that you're perfect and that everything's fine. They won't ever witness your bad behavior. They'll just make out as if it's fine, and then they, but they're doing very nefarious kind of things in an unconscious way, and they're probably bitching you the fuck out behind your back, okay? That is not a friend, it's a frenemy, okay? I mean, actually, have you seen that guy Abel Hart? He's so sweet, and he's gotten himself a platform now. Gone from literally from zero. He just sort of blew up overnight, and he does these kinds of what do you call them, the sort of frequency music with like affirmations. So he's like, I'm amazing, I'm a da-da-da-da-da-da, got all the money and it's coming to me. You know, he's doing that, and it's great. It's so cool. And one of the things that he says is that I realised that all my friends were enemies. And I'm beginning to realise that, guys. It's really unfortunate. I don't think they want to be or that they mean to be, but it has to do with self-love, unfortunately, and self-preservation. And people are in extreme, what's the word? Survival mode. Fight or flight, okay? Or freeze. We're always freezing. They then tend to befriend. They detach and simply aren't there. They can't stop eating, they can't stop shopping, they can't stop hoarding, and they're on either one or the other ends of the scales when it comes to fornication. They're either totally addicted to sex, porn and masturbation, or they're totally frigid and uptight. Okay, so those are the stress responses, and everyone's in them continuously. Okay, they really are. and it takes about, it takes about a good 10 years of extreme and conscious healing work, okay, to get out of the stress response. Okay, so, but basically what I'm saying is, if somebody is coming to you saying, I was born in the wrong body, okay, then you, as a friend, as a person, as a family member and a person that loves them, should be telling them, no, you're absolutely perfect as you are. You are born in the right body. But if you choose, and the reason I know that is because nature is everything, God is everything, God, doesn't make mistakes, okay? And if you cut your genitals, just be clear, you're never going to have sexual pleasure again in your life, okay? And that's why we need to keep the children out of this, because anyone under the age of 16, and when it comes to women, it's more like 23, 24, okay? They really don't understand sexual pleasure, and they haven't fully found it yet. Okay, I'm not saying that they haven't found any pleasure. I'm not saying that they can't, enjoy sex, but they haven't found their multi-orgasmic experience of life. Okay, that is one that just goes on and on and on, and ideally grows exponentially as you grow. Obviously I have better orgasms now in my 50s than I had in my 20s, okay, and my teens, because there's so much. That's why it just seems ridiculous to me how and why a man would choose a woman in her 20s who is totally uptight, totally frigid, completely embarrassed of her body, whether it doesn't matter how gorgeous her body is, she's embarrassed of it, okay? Either that, or because she's so embarrassed, she's flaunting it and making out as if she doesn't have low self-esteem. And in that respect, forcing herself into being an object, okay, and the subject. So we really need to be telling our friends, okay, and our family members and the people that we love that they are perfect, and that their genitals are going to give them a perfect experience of connection with the divine, whatever they look like when they were born. But if they want to dress up however they want to dress, they can colour their hair, they can have it short, they can have it long, they can even add breasts if they want to, or remove them, okay? But personally, even then, I don't think it's ideal. I think if we're putting silicone into our bodies, then we can expect we're going to be creating stagnation that could potentially turn into cancer. Okay, so we do have to be careful with all of these things. That's what I'm saying. If there's a natural way to improve your, you know, estrogen and progesterone levels, okay, or testosterone levels, do it, okay, and enjoy the benefits of that you're wanting and seeking out. But if you can't do it in nature, that's because it shouldn't be done.